Hello, everyone, or everyone might be just us three at this particular moment, but welcome to Folk U, a singer-songwriter round robin that has been going on here in the greater Chicagoland area for 20 years. In fact, we are in the middle of our 20th year celebration. December of 21 was actually the official, 20-year anniversary date. I don't traditionally do a show in December, and decided, well, what the hell, I'll just make all of the following year a 20-year celebration, because really, when I started this, I did not think I would be saying, here we are in our 20th year. But I'm happy to do it, and especially so tonight, because I have two great guests that are joining me. One for the first time, one who was reminding me that he might have been here for the first virtual broadcast we did, which was not using the same functionality and which was a little bit hairier, shall we say. And was that a good way to put it, Steve?
Yeah, it was user intensive.
Yes, it was user intensive, but we'll put all that behind us. I will give the spiel that I usually give. This is a singer-songwriter round robin. For those that don't know what that is, I'll give you my particular take on it. It's an opportunity for songwriters to get together to play material that they've either written themselves or co-written. No cover stuff is allowed. And in a more intimate setup. This couldn't be more intimate from the looks of it here. And then it's little mini sets that occur for each performer, and then it passes to the next, and they do a little mini set into the next, and then it comes around again, thus the round robin notion. And we'll do this for 3 passes tonight, if anyone's keeping track. I'm Larry O'Dean. I've been the host since 2001. Oh my God, yes. And I am joined tonight in screen order and in order of our performance tonight by my good pal, Chris Lehmann, who is coming from outside of the area, shall we say. And Chris and I have known each other for probably longer than he would like to admit. And we used to play in a group together in San Francisco called the Fuss Budget. So I'm really happy to have him back here. I've always loved Chris's stuff, and this is a good opportunity for me to, bring him into the Folk U fold. And also joining us is Steve Mend, who's played a couple of times, as I said, virtually and in person. And as Chris and I were both saying, he's by far got the classier setup there. He's got the beautiful mic. He's pulled back from the. He's not like me, who's like that face right up in the fucking camera. But I love his stuff. Looking forward to hearing him yet again. And I think that's the basic spiel. So I think, especially after I have inundated these fellows with my logorrheic nonsense before we got onto the air, that I'm going to say, if you guys are cool, I will put you down into the nether zone, and I will get this thing started. So Chris, will see you soon. Steve, see you soon-ish. All right. And me, you will see me now. So, hello, everybody. Here we are. It's May. Our I think I said our 23rd remote edition of Folk U. Yeah, I'm kind of getting to be fond of the remote editions of this, I have to say. And, starting by necessity because of the pandemic, which is, very, very much appropriate, is mutated and into something where live shows are coming back and people are going out to see live performances. We're just not quite there yet, but we do hope to be back sometime this year to the live setting if I feel it is appropriate. But nonetheless, doing it digitally has been very interesting, not the least of which can be kind of more relaxed in some ways, but in other regards, every every nook and cranny and every hair on your nose is a lot more visible than when you're on stage, and there's that that slight distance between yourself and an audience. But I'm glad that to be here, and I should just get this going, right? Didn't I promise that? So the first song that I'm going to play is by the band that I'm currently in, the Injured Parties, and this is our most recent album. Wow, that's kind of cool looking, right? With the looks a lot more. I mean, the design here with my face half obscured. Product Placement is the name of the album, and this is actually the first song on it, which is called "Got a Tattoo," and I think it's pretty explanatory. So let me get it going. Got a tattoo. Gonna piss off the parents, gonna make them squirm, gonna disappoint them, gonna make them learn. They think they know everything, but I know stuff too. Went down to the mall, got myself a tattoo. Got a tattoo. Got a tattoo. Got a tattoo. Got a tattoo. Joined a band, make lots of noise. The neighbors complain when we jam with our toys. But something was missing, and that feeling grew, till our bass player said, let's all get tattoos. Let's all get tattoos. All get tattoos. All get tattoos. Get a Carmag tattoo. It's something so simple, just pictures on skin. But you can't really change the person within. When I get older, might get a wife, work lots of jobs to get by in this life. But if I should live to 102, I'll never be alone with all my tattoos, with all my tattoos, all my tattoos, all my tattoos, all my tattoos. Got a tattoo, get a tattoo. Oh, thank you. I hear applause from somewhere. It could just be the gunshots from outside and the way that they sound, but I think it's applause. We are in Chicago after all, so. All right, well, that felt pretty good. So, yeah, that's this song. That song was inspired by. Oh, I'm getting some nice comments over there. Thank you to the folks that are tuning in. Sounds good. That's nice to know. And I shout out to Carmeg DeForest. Get my Carmeg tattoo. Who wouldn't want a Carmeg tattoo? But this song was definitely inspired by the song "Tattoo" by the Who, and thus the little flourish there at the end with the and the very Townsendian chord in there. Song that I love. I love the song "Tattoo," but I always felt like it was unfinished, and so kind of bugged me that it I thought there was more to do. So that kind of got me going. And of course, I'm not a tattoo kind of guy, but I felt it was a topic that needed addressing. Speaking of topics that need addressing, the next song I'm going to do is from the newer pile, not yet been recorded. It originally started as the other fine songwriters here may know. We all get inspiration for songs from different places, and this one was one that was just it's a song about Ubers. Not a concept that I'm a fan of. And so when I originally started, thinking I'm going to write a song about this, it was going to be some kind of anti-Uber screed, and it ended up becoming quite different. My attitude hasn't changed about them, but the song that resulted is not at all reflective of where my mind was when I first thought I'm going to do this. So it's called, and this is something I've heard many times from people. It's called "Are You My Uber?" Are you my Uber? I'd really like to know. I got places to be, and to be I must go. It's too far to walk, believe me, I try. Are you my Uber? Can I climb inside? Are you my Uber? I'm already late. Please answer me now, so I can make my escape. I gotta get out any place but here. Are you my Uber? Will you make me disappear? There's an empty space where I used to reside. When they looked for me, I would have to hide. Now I'm watching from the other side and waiting for a ride. Are you my Uber? Let's take a drive. My destination is to simply arrive. I close my eyes, let me know when children were there. Are you my Uber? Take me elsewhere. Are you my Uber? Take me anywhere. The Marshall stack is off right now, so
all right.
wasn't able to really evoke the power there that I was looking for. So.
Many sad casualties of the pandemic.
You know, especially early on, I yammered a lot doing this about how the lyrics to certain songs that were written, now I've written some since now and during, I should say, you know, take on different significance. And it's like for all my, you know, talk about, I'm not an Uber guy. I've been in Ubers, but I'm not an Uberist. You know, this seems like, you know, a little bit more poignant, the notion of like, take me anywhere but here, and, you know, get me out of here, make me disappear. And the notion of these cars that will just show up and take you anywhere, and how that significance of wanting to get away from the ungetawayable just seems that much different now. Still don't like them, but I feel the song more now. It's like the song where the song actually developed. It feels like it kind of stepped even more into itself over the last couple of years. So my guess is you are ready and raring to go. Is that a fair thing?
Well, yeah, sure. Thank you, first of all, for having me. I am a first-time folk viewer. So please be gentle. Yeah, I've known Larry forever. We had a band in the long ago time of the 90s, as you mentioned. I, until recently, was gigging out with a band I had here in DC where I live called the Charm Offensive.
Fantastic name.
Well, thank you. It wasn't my idea. It was my lead guitarist, Jordy Grindle.
Great name nonetheless. You know, when I first
heard DC name.
When I first heard that name associated with you, I thought, oh yeah, that's
two great tastes that go great together, right?
Yeah, there we go. But I'm sorry, you were saying.
So anyway, yes, I do live in DC, and it has affected my songwriting. You know, I'm in the seat of national politics. I'm also a journalist who's involved with all that shit all the time. So this first song I'm going to do is something.
Let me get myself out of here so you can fully present your song there.
All right.
Yeah.
I miss you, buddy.
And I will see you next time around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a song I wrote not long after the Tea Party sort of announced itself as a permanent fixture in American politics. And this registers, it's kind of like Larry's Uber song, in which I try to imaginatively enter a phenomenon I despise. Anyway, it's called The Ghost of John Galt, and it goes a little something like this. See before you a broken man who's lost his grip on the upper hand. The tiny screens they burn into lies. The trapdoor dropped us in an open sky. Look at all the shining broken people out beyond good and evil. The reckoning came and it's nobody's fault. We're riding tonight, the ghost of John Galt. We're riding tonight, the ghost of John Galt. The future always of a market legend, where nothing is just as it seems. You could leverage it, I'll never know what it means. Look at all the shining broken people out beyond good and evil. There's nothing to see here, nothing to solve. We're riding tonight, ghost of jungle. We're just riding tonight, with the ghost of jungle. Nobody came, but we kept on building, 'cause you got to live as the market wills it in a floating world. When the roof caves in, you can walk away from everything. You can't just walk away from everything. The fix was in, we knew the score. You see, this is what our genius was for. But the bankers burned right through town. We can't remember the fear of solid ground. Look at all the shining broken people out beyond good and evil. This is the way everything falls. We're riding tonight, it's a jungle. We're just riding tonight, it's a jungle. So yeah, and I probably should have explained at the outset that John Galt is in fact the philosophical hero of the Ayn Rand novel Atlas Shrugged. So let's see. Yeah, I think the other song I can do here is a dramatically slowed down mid-tempo version of something the old band did. It's a little number called Impossible. Oh, that's the fast version. Let me start again. My heart's become a dead letter office. Everything just lies there where I dropped it. Rework your way through all the boxes and the cobwebs till you forgot what was supposed to be the object. And I lost my footing, and the greatest scheme was my motivation in this scene. Well, I should be swinging, but I'm standing still, and love is perfect, that's why it's impossible. Bodies lying the main chance through the weight rooms and the dance floors and the wasteland. You can try to look away, but it won't be much help. While we're broken up in pieces, sold back to ourselves, and I lost my footing. The greatest scheme, what's my motivation in this scene? Well, I should be swinging, but I'm standing still, and love is perfect, that's why it's impossible. When you look at me like I should know where to begin. Truth blew up in your face and beauty just caved in. We're trapped in things you can never say out loud. All the abstract nouns in the world won't help us now. And I lost my footing and played a scheme. What's my motivation in this scene? Wow, ship is swooning, but I'm standing still. And love is perfect, that's why it's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. All right.
Hey, Chris.
You are too kind, sir, especially to enhance your applause with that fine microphone.
Well, I try.
Exactly. And you do actually have a Marshall stack in back of you. That's very
Yeah,
impressive.
when Larry mentioned that, I had to drag that from the back of the
Yes.
and put it in as a prop because I just have too many toys.
Indeed.
Not enough gig, being middle-aged, not enough gigs and too many toys.
No, I suffer from the same condition. I have a whole room of electric guitars that have been tragically untouched ever since we moved a year ago. But anyway, this is not a therapy session, so except in the way that all art is therapy. So let me pass the baton over to you, Steve.
All right.
Have at it.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Larry, make me disappear because I don't know how to do this shit.
Okay, so I'm very happy to be back on Larry's show here. I wish I was back at the Alex Chilton show because that is just the best. Well, it's cable or the internet. That's the best fucking gig ever at the Empty Bottle. But and maybe someday we'll be at Sylvie's again for this if Sylvie's is actually open. So this first song is a song I wrote when I was playing with Todd LaRue, who's a veteran of this broadcast as well, and the Red Wigglers. I've written two songs. It's a song cycle. It goes for about 9 minutes, and I've spent about 15 years writing it. So I'm a productive guy. Anyway, so it goes like this. It's called French Club. Sorry, I'm ruining your French club. You'll be back on the radio soon. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers or scare those few peacocks. Let's try to remember you invited me here. I'm gonna be myself, for I care for nothing else. Will be peace in the valley tonight. I think you're gonna be alright. Won't be peace in the valley tonight. I think you're gonna be alright. In the valley tonight, I think you're gonna be alright. Won't be peace in the valley tonight, but I think you're gonna be alright. might be the Mies van der Rohe, the sauerkraut and salmon roll. Red is the color of my true love's eye. You looking mighty dry. Through Confederate hats, letters never sent. Gonna be myself, or I care for nothing else. Won't be peace in the valley tonight, but I think you're gonna be alright. There won't be peace in the valley tonight. I think you're gonna be alright. Okay. Thanks out there. I'm just check the private chat in case Larry's saying it sounds terrible. All right, this is the second part of the song cycle. It's a little song did with the co-written with my friends in the Deadly Bungalows, Matt and Holly. It's called Band Camp. I'm gonna get out of band camp. I've been stuck down here since June. I'm gonna get out of band camp. We'll be flying over the moon. We're gonna play whatever we want. We're gonna play whatever we want. Pass the euphonium. We're not the only ones. Pass the euphonium. We're not the only ones. I'm gonna get out of band camp. That wall's only 10 feet tall. We're gonna get out of band camp. I'm feeling 20 feet small. I'm gonna play whatever we want. We're gonna play whatever we want. Pass the euphonium. We're not the only ones. Pass the euphonium. We're not the only one. We're gonna get out of band camp. We'll be on the radio soon. We're gonna get out of band camp. We're gonna fly to the fucking moon. We're gonna play whatever we want. We're gonna play whatever we want. Pass the euphonium. We're not the only ones. Pass the euphonium. We're not the only one. Hey, Larry.
I wanted to give you adequate time to like rock that out there.
All right. Well, thank you.
I brought my own silly self back. Wow, it sounded great. Sounded great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, again, you're so on top of things. I thought at one point I was going to like go into the private chat and like say something to Chris, but then I thought, oh, let's not get into this private chat mode. But you so rightfully look, because that would be the place where I would say, hey, there's like some sort of gnomish sound that I can't figure out.
Yeah,
but you're both sounding really great.
Well, awesome. Yeah, no, I think everything sounds good. It looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, again, a big improvement from you, who so boldly stepped in with me in the beginning. It was in the Land of Madness, which we shan't discuss or talk about anymore. And Matt is Sobchik has also thrown a note down there.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
Nick Juno from the Detroit area is here. It's a very international, crew here tonight. So I feel like loved. And you should feel loved as well. That's great stuff, man. Always.
Oh, I do feel love, especially since my lovely wife is also in the room, just for anybody curious.
Well, she has been putting some very kind comments in over here. So I appreciate it. I will proctor an appreciation for Chris as well, because I commented after everybody, so it's very kind of her. Yeah. Well, I will let you have a drink or relax or whatever you need to do. And I will pull my
sponsored by Modelo, by the way. So
here we go.
All right.
Clank. A virtual toast. And I'll see you next pass.
Awesome.
All right. Hang tight. All right. So, wow. Yeah, and get a little clummy. I was to say clubby and chummy. Oh, clummy. That's a new portmanteau there. With the talk, I mean, the one thing about being remote is that you kind of get in your own little world here. Can't forget that there are people that are watching live and will watch this later. So we have to maintain some semblance of professionalism, although each of us has sworn at least once, which is nice. I would consider that a very professional thing to do. Yeah, I want to hear the music. I want to get away from my own chattering. So let's do it. I'm going to do for my next number here, the newest thing that I have finished writing, that is called "I'm a Little Disappointed in Myself." And which could be my like the theme for my existence, could be like a little mantra I wore daily on a shirt. And it's new, unrecorded, and I'm thinking that if this does finally make its way into like the Injured Party set, or myself doing solo stuff in front of audiences with some regularity, it seems like a good song, and wasn't designed this way, but is kind of through the process of getting it performable. It seems like one that one could like be in Toledo and like could come up with a verse for it. And by this I don't mean some kind of crass localizing of it for different audiences, but it just seems like a song that could be updated and change all the time. And it might be something that given I get back to live performing, that I might try to do that. But for now, it is as it is. I'm going to shut up and play it. Well, I'm going to shut up and sing it, and shut up the yammering. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I didn't do that thing I should have done. I didn't get up early and take a run. I thought instead I'd have some fun. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I raised my voice when it didn't need to be. All I was thinking about was me. Wish I could lay myself across my knee. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I really wanted to come out to your show. It meant a lot to you, I know. I promise next time I'll go. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I miss testifying for you in court. I helped some kids build a tree fort and drop my neighbor at the airport. I'm a little disappointed in myself. Is this the boy my parents raised to be the man everyone praised and spoke of thankful and amazed? I'm a little disappointed in myself. I'm a little disappointed in myself. Perhaps I raised the bar too high. I'm only human, one day I'll die. All this potential unrealized. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I'm gonna put these thoughts to bed. Shove them right out of my head. Oh, making room for something pleasanter instead. I'm a little disappointed in myself. And so is the Wi-Fi signal here, evidently. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, man, I'm like right by my router, and it's like I saw the little signal dwindle down. Oh, it's doing it again. So, if you happen to lose me, I'll bring one of these fine fellows into the mix, but I think we're going to be okay here. I hope so. For their sake, because they're not ready to play yet. So I am going to do for my next song in this set here another indie party song. Just month to month, I'll go over what I want to play, and this is from our first album, Fun with a Purpose. Fine art there by Lloyd Dangle, and this is called Dog Walker, and it is. I live in a high-rise building with an awful lot of dogs. I don't have a dog currently. I have had dogs in the past, and I have known dog walkers. So I wish I could say, and there's quite a few of them. I see them coming and going in this building. For walking people's pooches when they're not around. So I wish I could say that this was drawn from conversations with them, one of which I do know pretty well, but it actually predates all of that, and is just a persona, getting into the mindset of this particular person. And I must say that people that are dog walkers that have heard it have commented that they like it. So they're either being kind to me or, did something right here. So let's see what you think. I don't think I've played it in a little while. So dog walker. Monday through Friday, she pulls back her hair, grabs her coat and keys, and stumbles down the stairs. Running to the bus stop, she pauses at the store for a donut and a soup du jour. Doesn't matter if it rains, if it hails or it snows, she's got somewhere to be, so it's somewhere she goes. Paid by the hour, she lingers a while, watching cable and reading in style. Oh, the dogs have got to go. Oh, the dogs have got to go. Oh, the dogs have got to go. It's up to her, She's taking classes 3 days a week. Principles of biology and the feminine mystique. Still lives on Thursday, sketching flowers and fruit. Anything that doesn't move. Oh, the dogs have got to go. Oh, the dogs have got to go. Oh, the dogs have got to go. It's up to her, Condo to condo, with ziplocs and bones, she circles the block and talks on the phone, yanking on leashes and quiet and barks. She knows every curbside and park. They'll be her babies, she'll give them names like Otto and Basil and Calamity Jane, pretending each dog is loyal and true and wouldn't hesitate coming to her rescue. Oh, the dogs have got to go. Oh, the dogs have got to go. Oh, the dogs have got to go. It's up to her. It's up to her. It's up to her,
Well, I can testify as the owner of 3 dogs that that's a very a bracing dose of social realism. So.
Oh, that's the kindest thing I've ever heard about it. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, we're thinking of getting another dog.
There's the the word cynic comes from the Greek word for dog, because Diogenes went in search of an honest man and couldn't find one, lay down with dogs. So it's a very honorable mode of cultural criticism, I would argue.
We're getting one.
All right. All right. But the personal is also political. So I have a song here that
I'm extricating myself again.
All right.
All right. Hang tight, man. I was going to say, you're sounding good.
I'll always be here for you, buddy.
All right. Okay. Here we go.
All right. I think I have the floor now. So you can all tell me what you really think about Larry. Now, here is I can't really remember the genesis of this song. There came a point where I was just writing bitter breakup songs on autopilot. This isn't exactly a bitter breakup song, but it's, well, the title sort of says it all. It's called My Stupid Heart. My stupid heart drums on and on. Keeps sticking its nose in where it doesn't belong. It's peevish and it's selfish and it's full of guile. And it sulks like a miserable wounded child. I spent far too much time now in the dark, nursing this clueless, stupid heart. My stupid heart uses mistakes. I give and give, it takes and takes. Well, it wouldn't know a good thing if it saw it. It always mistakes love for melodrama. And it falls apart. That's the architecture of my stupid heart. My stupid heart wants more and more. Makes all the other hearts record and hard. Keeps moving in circles and it's fighting blind. Keep me tangled up in its little one-track mind. Give it a worthy aim and I would be a star. But that's asking way too much for my stupid heart. My stupid heart is worth a fair. If it all the headlines, but you just don't care. Can't envision any crime or atrocity that attracts from its precious sense of injury. Well, if all the world would just play its part, that still would be enough for my stupid heart. That was normally a sort of bar band rave up song. But now, sadly, you know, the sort of instrumental fills are just the places where I try and usually fail to remember the lyrics. Anyway, yes, earlier we were discussing cultural criticism and songwriting, and this is actually, Larry knows we have a long past in that sphere. You know, our old band did an Anti-Talking Heads song way back in the day, which obviously the risk is those songs have a short half-life, and that's a classic case in point. This one, surprisingly, continues to be relevant, much to my dismay. I actually wrote it after on cable. I saw Boogie Nights, which is a movie I just hated. I think I've kind of I've rewatched it since then, and I've softened on it a little. Except then during COVID, my wife and I rented Licorice Pizza by the same director, and man, I fucking hated that movie. And it sort of brought me back to this mental space. So I'm including the song tonight. It's called Tarantino Nation. And it starts a little something like that, but more competently. Let's see their flippers, showers out somewhere. The gun enters, combs his hair. Annihilate it all begins again. There's no way out and no way in. It's a deadpan rage. It's on every station. It's another night. Tarantino Nation. You know the names, the faces, the reactions. You know that nothing threatening will ever happen on the illusions. Yeah. They shrink to fit. There they are. You sit. It's a gentle pulse of saturation. Credits never roll. Tarantino Nation. Well, we make it home, but it feels so roach. Do I reach for the remote? We learn these lines forever now, but the screenplay looks too tired somehow. what we've got for an imagination. You're trying to feel something. Church in our nation. You are too kind, sir.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
So over to you. What do we got lined up now?
Now I got a couple more really old stale songs, but I'm going to play them anyway.
Oh yeah.
When Larry told me of this, I thought I was going to finish some songs, but I didn't. So here's a couple old ones we're going to do.
Cool. Larry, make me disappear again. I feel awkward.
Goodbye, Chris. Okay. All right. This is a song called Guitar Players. Lehmann Senior on his Les Paul Jr. Boys in the trucker hats turn their backs. But the girls dance with each other while the barflies kiss their lovers. You know what goes? What can we do for you if you gave us all night? What to do for you if you gave us all night? How many guitar players can dance on the head of a pen? How many guitar players think they invented every sin? How many guitar players really take them back when your life was simple? Your mind wasn't crowded with facts. She's a wicked string bender on a tricked out fender. Boy said she pretty good for a girl, but the girls played centipede while the bass man scored some weed. You know what it goes? What can we do for you if you gave us some night? Could we do for you if you gave us some night? How many guitar players dance on the head of a pen? How many guitar players think they invented every sin? How many guitar players can really take you back when your life was simple and your mind wasn't crowded with facts? Let it Hank Senior on his Les Paul Jr. Boys in the trucker hats turn their backs, but the girls played centipede while the bass man scored some weed. You know that one goes. What could we do for you if you give me all night? What could I do for you if you give me all night? How many guitar players dance on the head of a pen? How many guitar players think they invented every sin? How many guitar players can really take you back? When your life was simple and your mind wasn't crowded with facts. All right. Thanks, Lisa. And thanks, Jennifer, out there. Jennifer, this text to me about, I think it was 1894, before Iggy Pop show at the Congress. Jennifer personally handed a CD with that song to Greg Kot, the esteemed music critic, and he threw it on the ground and urinated on it, which was shocking. But, you know, it was an Iggy show, so, you know, shit happens. Anyway, here's another song. It's about alcohol. I left the bar with empty pockets, and I always do. Empty stares from my drinking buddies. Guess I should have left with you. How did I get this way? I don't know, man, baby, I cannot say. Tap my shoulder, baby, I'll turn around. Just let me know when I hit the ground. Out in the night till that cold gray dawn, dogs and birds know me well. Sing a happy melody, my friend. Lead me straight back to hell. How did I get this way? I don't know, man, baby, I cannot say. Tap my shoulder, honey, I turn around. Just let me know when I hit the ground. I left the bar with empty pockets, like I always do. Empty stares from my drinking buddies. Guess I should have left with you. How did I get this way? I don't know, man, baby, I cannot say. Tap my shoulder, honey, I turn around. Just let me know when I hit the ground.
Whew.
Thank you.
Yeah, and adding some to the stereo applause there. Yeah, I wanted to let you rock that out again. Yes, and you were burning up the frets there too. I see.
Well, I don't know.
A man who's unafraid of the unaccompanied solo.
Yeah, no, it's always kind of horrifying, but once you start doing it, you're doing it. So
There's no turning back. Am I right? You're caught up in the spirit of the moment.
Yeah. So, and that's the way it should be, right? I guess.
I think so. It's the way it was anyway, right? Yeah. But what can we do?
I don't know.
And this is recorded for posterity, so there's plenty of time to come back and weep later. So.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Can we fix it in post?
Yeah, of course. I'll add some Yngwie Malmsteen to it or something like that.
Oh God!
Did I pronounce his name right? I think he's was never a metal person by any stretch. I mean, I have some metal in the house here. Metal products, but I think that's a name I always saw, but I never actually pronounced.
Yeah. I think Yngwie is the I don't know, it's the accepted pronunciation.
Yeah, I think
the Swede, well, he seems like a nut, but most Swedes seem like they just kind of go with the flow. So
yeah,
he is the exception, I think.
I think I had put him so completely out of my mind, but the thing is, we never really forget anything, I suppose. And at that moment, he kind of rose up there. So, I mean, the least that I could do is to.
I'm sure he had a fog machine too, probably.
Oh, yeah. Well, you already brought the stack in there.
Yeah.
So yes, I think somebody did something like that once, actually. God, could that be true? But like had maybe even one of these like remote ones. It certainly wasn't at Sylvie's or one of the other venues we were at. But yeah, and I knew there was something I meant to say before to you. It's like, yeah, I do hope we can do the Chilton thing again this year.
Yeah, because that's a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of times these things where there's 24 bands they can be pretty hellish. But you always kind of seem like you curate a good group of bands and everybody gets along very well and everything meshes together. So it's something I definitely always was excited to be invited to.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. And, I agree with you. It certainly was nothing that was, this started out being, hey, I could do this songwriter thing every month. And, 20 years later, it's kind of shocking, but it was intended to be ongoing. But the Chilton thing was originally intended to be a one-off. Right. And then the second time was kind of like, let's do it again. And then after that, it just sort of snowballed. And it has been, pretty consistently marvelous to do. And, and of course, what occurred with him, initially starting, I don't want to go down a tangent here or go on a tangent, but, he was alive for it in the beginning, and he knew, I heard people say he knew about it, and then he was in town here, and I brought a poster to him at one of the shows. He was at the Old Town School, and his bass player, his bass player passed it on to him, and then I heard that he loved it. But anyway, and then of course he dies, and so that all kind of contributed to it as well, because it was never intended to be what these things often are, as a remembrance of somebody, but it was just kind of like a celebration. Then it becomes a little more funereal. But as I must say, except maybe that first year that he had died, has never been, exceptionally downbeat or whatever.
No,
that show wasn't even, but I think a lot of people were verklempt.
Well, I think it's also, I mean, it's kind of his music too, kind of lends itself. I don't know. For me, it always has like such a, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with his music, but in the end, it seems like it's always kind of going up. Even if there's negative shit in the music, it still seems like the arrow is pointing up so I don't know if that makes any sense, but
yeah, no, it totally does. And so yeah, let's see, what happens, because we did the video version of it, where people contributed some. It wasn't live, but videos. And then last year, just nothing. And it would have not worked anyway, because the Empty Bottle ended up being closed during that period. So hopefully this year it'll be back.
Cool.
Fingers crossed. I need to just approach them, and I need to do it soon, because it's usually like right after midsummer, right after that I check in with them. So thank you for the reminder. Yeah,
sure.
And for the great songs, I will let you take a breather now, and I'll see you for your last pass.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, man. Wow. Yes. So yeah, the Alex Chilton annual birthday show, and usually in December, and not at all why I wouldn't normally do a folk you in December. It just maybe in part it was that I was like, I don't want to have these two things kind of button up against each other, as different as they are. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be back to doing that this year. So I've got one more for you for my final pass here, and I can say I'm so pleased, and I will reiterate this at the end, but I can say it in a little solo mode here to have Steve and Chris here. I really appreciate when people take the time to perform. And when people take the time, another very nice comment from Nick Juno there, to tune in. Nick Juno, a fine songwriter from Detroit in his own right, but thank you guys for doing this tonight. And then I'll say it a little more officially when we're all up on screen together. But all right, so this last one, I think it might be, no, it's not the oldest one and oldest in my set tonight, but I had moved it out of even these performances virtually, but it was sort of tucked into the back of my mind again because of this recent thing with Dolly Parton and her saying she didn't want to be in the considered for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which seems like a perfectly fine sentiment for anybody, really. Nobody should want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But of course, Dolly Parton, the whole thing just kind of reminded me of how she crosses so many borders for people and musical tastes and what have you. And not that this is a Parton-esque song or a song about Parton, but it is inspired by the fire, or it was initially inspired by the fire at Dollywood, which was in November of 16. So that should date this for you. And then we were like still getting our bearings in the Trump dump. I don't know what to call it. And this like stupid thoughts and prayers crap, which continues to this day. And around the time that Dollywood had almost burned, well, I don't think it was that bad, but anyway, somebody said this again, and so it became like initially inspired by the fire at Dollywood, and then this comment that someone made, and it unleashed all this stuff in my brain. So this is Thoughts and Prayers, the song, not the combination of thoughts and prayers. Dollywood's in danger. Flames are getting close. The firemen of Pigeon Forge almost gave up the ghost. But while the world was watching, smoke vanished in the air. Thanks to our collective thoughts and prayers. Jet up in the sky on a routine flight, dropped off of the radar in the middle of the night. The relatives all gathered at the airport where they shared an emotional outpouring of thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, prayers and thoughts, tossed anywhere, just waiting to be caught. There's a bombing at a mosque and a shooting at a school. Poisons in the pipes, rusty water rushes through. Everyone was saddened once they were made aware. immediately responding with thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, prayers and thoughts, tossed anywhere, just waiting to be caught. The polar caps are melting, the ice is getting thin. Penguins stuck in the slush doze off and dream. And when they wake up, it all will be repaired miraculously by thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, prayers and thoughts, tossed anywhere, just waiting to be caught. Thoughts and prayers, prayers and thoughts, tossed anywhere, just waiting to be caught. Thoughts and prayers, prayers and thoughts, tossed everywhere, just waiting to be caught.
Yes, of course. Again, here in DC, we hear that refrain a lot, particularly after horrors like the massacre in Buffalo.
Just what you need, right?
Right. And I thought that song had a certain Dali-esque, timbre.
Yeah. I might like lean more in the Porter Wagner mode, but
yeah, Porter was definitely underrated. Stuff like Rubber Room, which was Alex Chilton covered.
Speak of the Devil, right?
Yeah, he had. There is a great, like, I just bought it recently, an Australian compilation of all the really demented Porter Wagner songs from the 70s. It's well worth seeking out.
Okay. What's it called? Do you know what it's called off the top of your head?
No, it has one of those, like, Tales of Mystery and Imagination kind of titles, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
I remember there's a pretty good, maybe a Bear Family collection of his stuff that was.
Yeah, they tend to do everything, and the nice thing, like, I'm sure it's all good, but I wanted the really gothic weird shit. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys that I would have when I was younger with him and Dolly, I just thought of them as freakish and not necessarily freakish in a good way. And then, of course, once I paid attention,
music is something you age into. I think.
Yeah.
I'm a big country fan these days.
Yeah, I think you always have been, though, haven't you? Since I've known.
Yeah, in bits and pieces, but yeah, no, I'm yeah. It's the only musical genre that really subscribes to the doctrine of original sin. So that's why it appeals to me. As a student of religion.
Well, I will let you go.
All right.
Since you've been right on the hot button too with like, get me the hell out of here, which is the way to do it here.
I just,
I think I've done you.
I'm a Midwesterner. I don't want to overstay my welcome.
No, you're not overstaying anything. But I will now pass the musical baton to you, and then see you at the end, of course, for our big group hug.
All right.
Such as it is. So rock it out, my man.
Thank you, sir. I'm pretty much going to do the opposite of rocking out with this one. This is, I'm sure, going to be the oldest song anyone plays tonight. This, I figured, as an homage to our shared band past, I would do an old Fuss Budget's Chestnut. And I mentioned earlier that I, got to the point where I was writing bitter breakup songs on autopilot, and this was a classic case in point. This was actually I just moved into an empty apartment, the one I shared with our old friend Ken Rassick, may he rest in peace, on 24th Street in the Mission. And there was just the empty apartment vibe. was everywhere. Nothing was unpacked. It felt, redolent with the sense of an ending. So, of course, I sat down and wrote this song, which is called Walking with Heartbreak. Nothing came between us, set up its bittersweet housekeeping. Our hearts beat as one together against this numb futility. We've given up believing the bed's inactive and unmade. The grimy window shades just make the sunlight look cold. All the prettiest conceits, like the carpet beneath our feet, so thin and old. So now I'm out to get some air, make out like I just don't care, walking with heartbreak. It's a fitting late addition to this forlorn indecision we called home. The most elaborate distractions and the night's precious enchantments felt alone. The surprises left are joyless, and the upheavals feel more or less the same. We've abandoned conversation, we stale deliberations over who's to blame. So now I take it to the streets, slouch resolutely towards defeat, walking with heartbreak. Heartbreak sets a solemn pace and draws every shadow in its wake and presses on. Gathers force at every step, and you look up to see it's all that's left when your will has gone. Sheltered lines of shambles, and we shiver as we consider what's coming next. The walls shake up to the rafters with all the blank recriminations of our gracelessness. Our better selves have failed us. These fond memories of sailors with I told you so's. The vows were pledged unto death, and now just be filed with regrets under purple prose. Well, it's you and me and this sense of loss, and no move with me can shake. Walking with heartbreak, walking with heartbreak, walking with heartbreak, walking with heartbreak.
Right. Oh, all right.
who are both gentlemen and scholars. Okay? And so now it's up to you, Steve. Rock us home.
Yeah, well, the one good, there is a connection here going from you to me. This song does have DC as a kind of supporting cast member in it. So this kind of imagines Barack Obama going from his adopted hometown of Chicago to DC when he's elected.
And dreaming one day of ruining Lincoln Park, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. And, I could say a lot about Barack Obama, but I still like the guy anyway because he's just kind of charismatic. Yeah. But anyway, whenever you have to say, "Oh, that's Obama, he's a socialist," I'm like, I wish, but
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anyway, so this is a song I wrote for the contest the Chicago Public Library did quite a few years ago. Obviously, Barack Obama, that's like a different universe, and so it's supposed to be your favorite aspect of Chicago, and so I like how the streets, for the most part, are they're at right angles and stuff, and it's easy to get around and take shortcuts and whatnot for Uber drivers. And we love those guys, right? Anyway, might work to do that. Mr. Obama, I feel for you. You're stuck in DC, don't know what to do. Everything does a circle to a square. Orbiting limos and imitation hair. When you got to Chicago, didn't feel so strange. Everything was irrational and sane. We got to grin. Right angles, flat land. Damn, you burn 'em, taking Mother Nature by the hand. Right angles, flat land. Damn, you burn 'em, taking Mother Nature by the hand. Just give me the address, I don't need direction. You can save your ways, I know the system. Everything radiates from State and Madison. From 95th to Western to Sheffield and Addison. We got to grin. Right angles, flat land. Then you burn 'em, taking Mother Nature by the hand. Right angles, flat land. Damn, you burn 'em, taking Mother Nature by the hand. We got the grill. Right angles, flat land. Then you burn 'em, taking Mother Nature by the hand. Right angles, flat land. Then you burn 'em, taking Mother Nature by the hand. All right, we're gonna get there. Let's hear some streets. K streets. L streets.
Laramie, Waller,
M streets.
Major, Aurora,
N streets.
Narragansett, Nina,
O streets.
Oviedo, Osceola,
P streets. Street,
Keeler to Patrick.
L Street,
Laramie, Laverne.
M Street,
Memora, Major.
N Street,
Eden, Narragansett.
O Street,
Osceola, Oviedo.
P Street.
Panama, Pacific.
Thank you, Lisa Mend.
Very nice.
Thank you.
And yes, believe me, DC is cursed with unnavigable traffic circles. I long for right angles and the grid.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it was I don't it was what when you're like in a contest, you're like, what can I pick to write about that nobody else is gonna pick? So I thought that was
Well done.
Yeah, I assume that you were the only right angle.
yeah, and the song did pretty well. I think I got about 77 votes, but then a girlfriend of a rap producer also entered the contest with a song that was, okay. It was a good video, but she got like 5,000. You can't do anything. Girlfriend of a rap producer. She got like 10,000 votes. So
Yeah, but her song didn't mention Daniel Burnham.
no, it did not. It did not, and she could not sing in key at all either. But
I also wanted to call out your use of the euphonium in your band costume.
Thanks. Yeah, I know that's probably not COVID friendly anymore. The children passing the
But,
euphonium around the fire, but
Yeah, initially I thought it was pandemonium, but it would have gone a whole different direction for you. But anyway,
Well, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about right here. Wonderful songs, dudes. Thank you so much. And again, I had my little solo moment there where I said I really appreciate. I said, every month that people would take time out of their schedule to do this. Well into the 20th year. But especially tonight, stuff's been great. Chris, I loved hearing the Fuss Budgets song. I put a comment there about it, and I had thought of doing something too. And occasionally there are some that I'll pull out, but mainly I've let go, which is good that I have for everybody concerned. But I always loved your stuff with the group. So I think there were quite a few that would hold up quite well today. And then the mentioning of our pal, mutual friend Ken, whose anniversary was recent.
I know. I still get those.
Yeah, I mean, Steve's out in the cold here, but just a mutual friend who's like a pretty sui generis, very funny, made videos and, not a musical person at all, but very influential to me. He and I were friends together back in Flint, which is I suppose I need to do a shout out to Flint every month as far and there was actually a lyrical shout out in that last song when it's talking about the rust in the water, which is of course not resolved as of today,
right?
So what the hell is going on there? But I know what's going on there. That's par for the course.
Yeah.
So well, I will say officially again, thank you to Steve Mend, Chris Lehmann, to the folks that have made comments, and I month to month, this is my favorite thing to do. Whether I kind of miss the in-person part, but the main thing is the songs, and so I really appreciate hearing your stuff tonight, both of you. Thanks for doing it.
Oh, thank you, Larry.
Pleasure, yep.
And before we do our official sign off, and then we have our satanic ceremony, which of course is what we're going to do, but not on the camera.
Yeah.
Anything to plug offhand, Steve? Do you have something? Because you're a busy dude.
I'm not super. I think one fatality from COVID for me is my gigging energy has kind of died a little bit. So, but I have a handful of solo acoustic. If you like this kind of thing, solo acoustic at the North Park Community Market, July, August, September, and October. So if you look up North Park Community Market, you'll probably find it.
Oh, great. And then Chris, Anything you care to plug offhand?
No, I am merch free unless people want to buy my last book, The Money Cult, which is a whole different experience. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can. I'm not gonna. I can speak from experience. It's well worth reading, listening to anything Chris does, and reading anything that he does. So look it up, man. And I'd love to hear more music from you. I don't know what your plans are with that, if plan is even the right word, but
yeah, no, I do sometimes team up with a friend out here in Tacoma, and he's got a makeshift studio, and we thrash stuff out. But yeah, I am at a different life stage.
yeah, I gotcha. Well, I say it as purely selfishly. It's like, why does you have to love doing this if you're doing it at the level that any of us are or have, but purely selfishly, I'd love to hear more of your stuff. So
Thank you.
and let's do this again if possible in real life. If
that would be awesome.
Yeah. So I should wrap it up, and you guys are probably eager to have me wrap it up because, again, I'm kind of I can get a little drifty if I ain't careful, and I'm doing it now. So once again, I will give an official hand. Thank you so much to Steve Mend, Chris Lehmann, our 23rd remote edition here. Thank you so much. We'll be back the third Friday of next month. And you guys hang out there because, again, I've got the flames getting higher ceremony. And then we'll have our off-camera goodbye in just a sec. But in the meantime, let's wave to everyone. Hey. Thanks again, everybody.
Yep.